You're harassing me.
Oh, okay.
Helping Rod with turn in last minute assignments. Zahire's on his lunch break asking for a hot dog.
Hey man, you got a
And
request?
Lauren's just asking her normal 50 questions per hour.
Okay.
But we here.
50 is good. That's less than a question.
That's 50 per hour. She's got a 25 question quota per day. She's outpacing herself.
Okay.
You gotta know, man. She gonna, you figure 1 out of 3 of your kids gonna be really, really intelligent. She gonna know.
That's a workout. Just answering questions is a workout.
So I want to go back to the hot dog. If it's not kosher, is it at least all beef?
It's all chicken.
Oh, okay.
Chicken beak and chicken feet.
What's up, y'all? You laughing at me?
Chicken feet.
No, of course not. It's
Rodney feeding kids chicken parts that nobody wants.
Yeah.
Rod, what happened? You got dark again, bro.
Yeah, man. It's a school day.
Oh,
he's in the closet.
Yeah, I'm the last one.
In the closet like R. Kelly.
There's degrees in here too.
Trapped in the closet.
I got the electrician at the house. I'm in my kids' room. Got Blaze in the background.
Hey, I wish I could have Blaze in the background. It's hot in here.
Hey, you in the dark and it's hot?
Man, they gotta be like Norbit in the basement.
You in the hole, brother.
He's the basement.
Call you Hurricane Carter.
All right, so check it. This is the Collective Podcast. This is episode 43 live, the Collective Podcast. I am AC from LA. Let's see, Cat Corner, Rodney Saucier Sr., and then to Rodney's right is Trey, and I mean Rodney's real right, not on camera right. Rodney's real right, Trey Hop, and then our very, very, very special guest host who is absolutely on time, which my 2 co-hosts weren't, but it is what it is. Thank you, Anthony Cobb.
Hey, man.
Live. That's how the Bruins do it. We show up on time.
Well, if you
backstage at a quarter till.
So what? Okay, so what happened? Then Trey's electrician shut your power off, and so you wound up getting knocked out of backstage, or what? Nicki Minaj came backstage with you and distracted you. Like what are we doing?
If there was a distraction, it definitely wouldn't be Nicki Minaj. Now, if you said Thelma.
No, see, it's not the person of your choice because I'm trying to give you an actual out that there was a distraction. Not that you wound up leaving Nisha, because if Thelma's backstage, Nisha's in trouble. We already know. Like that's we know that's your guest pass if there is one. And Nisha don't seem like the type to give a guest pass, but we know that would be your one. We know how you feel about her.
That's it.
We know that yeah, okay. We're talking about Thelma from Good Time. He had a stint where he was very interested in Walona, but as time went on, he then moved over to Thelma.
No, Walona. There's never been a second place.
Hey, so listen, this is the Collective Podcast. We come here to talk you through the happenings of the world, and we generally really focus on sports, and there's a lot of politics in sports, and sometimes we focus on it, sometimes we don't, but generally we try to give you what's going on in sports. But right now, shout out to Tina King. What's up, Dr. King? Dr. Tina M. King, shout out to you. Tina King just liked the podcast with much appreciation. So Dr. Tina King. So listen, this is a very somber time. And so we will still joke, we will still talk about sports, but man, I don't even know where to begin other than to ask you guys how you feel about the thuggery that took place yesterday on the steps of the Capitol and throughout the Capitol, it wasn't called, Rod, the National Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the National Mall, the thugs, the thuggery, even the thuggery of 45 who incited the thing, the thuggery of his kids, the thuggery of that fool that what did Cobb say? He's a shadow of himself, or whatever the hell he said about Giuliani. That fool inciting this whole thing, and then even Ted Cruz in Georgia and Howley. Like, please talk to me about what you guys thought about this embarrassing situation that transpired yesterday in DC. I don't care who talks first.
The
I can
elder
tell you
statesman.
now, I thought they had help. I lived in DC for close to 20 years. That whole national area is like a fortress. You cannot just take the end of a flag and just start breaking windows and get into one of those buildings. You will get killed just looking the wrong way by the National Mall. There's no way in hell I believe that they just got into that Capitol building that easily, breached 3 different levels to it, and stormed the building. And they knew, and the person who sat in Pelosi's office knew exactly where to go. I mean, if you've ever been to DC and been to the Capitol, you know how large that building is. You can see it on television that the middle of the building is huge, and it has 2 wings to it. And there are 1,000 different offices in between. How would you possibly figure out exactly where to go to get to her office?
We know, Rod.
That's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. He went straight to the office, destroyed it, and 45 supporters are still to this day saying, I can understand why they're mad. Their freedoms are being taken. And for me, personally, and I don't speak for everyone, but I definitely speak for me, that's almost a joke to tell a person of color that we're mad because our freedoms are being taken. That's a slap in the face. Like, if that's your excuse, you need to find a different excuse. Period.
I'm gonna take a page out of the book of Malcolm X. The chickens have come home to roost, and my mom would also say, "You get what you get." That's what you get when you start some stuff, when you incite, you instigate, you ask for, you get what you get, and you can't be mad about it. Unfortunately, 4 people lost their lives in a planned takeover. I mean, a lot of us have run game in our lives, and I joke about being a con artist my whole life. I know a con job or an inside job when I see one. And just like you said, Rod, Capitol Hill is a fortress. Nobody coming up there set tripping gets past the 4th step, black or white. But in this case, this was an orchestrated dance. These guys, I mean, they were told, and they would do it with immunity because the way they ran up in there is so gangster and thuggish, sitting in chairs, putting their feet up, taking the podium, smiling for cameras. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff looks so orchestrated and written to me. And then where's Trump? Nowhere to be found. And then Pence trying to backpedal, and Biden has to tell Trump to do something about it, and Trump is trying to play golf. Everything just seems so fabricated and in your face to remind us of where our place is in this country. That we better arm up and be ready for this ignorance that's coming, because it's going to get worse. As you see, there are millions of people who believe the same way and have drank the juice that Trump was pouring. So I'm not surprised at all. I'm not even as disgusted as some people are. I'm just watching this show because this is all written in the Bible. Perilous times are coming, and we are in it, man. This is what we're going to see when you elect an idiot to lead. I mean, this is a sports show, right? So when you have a head coach that's crazy, what do you get? You know what I'm saying? You get a person that does not lead, a person that's a little bit off. You get chaos and you lose games. We hire somebody that's a businessman who's a bad businessman who got a head start in life with millions and millions of dollars from his family. And he's been a bad manager of money his whole life. He's a bad manager. He's a bad leader. And this is what you get. You can't be mad because you elected this guy. And this is what you get. And his last 10 days is going to be something to see. And that's what we get, man. So I'm going to continue to pray for our safety. Part of me said I'm glad they weren't black because they would be dead. And then the embarrassment of this country as a whole, the history of this country has taken a serious black eye. And this is what you get when you put a person in power that does not qualify for the position.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And yeah, this is like that happened yesterday. It's terrible. And it still might not be over because he's still in there. Mm-hmm. Something else will happen. And it's not going to shock you because we all expected it. We all expected his man was not going to go out with any decency because he's not decent. You know what I mean? You can't expect a person like him to be cordial. It's a shame that these people lost their lives. However, going into a place that you're not supposed to, that's trespassing. If you come in somebody's house, they are going to shoot you. I feel bad for the lady that got shot, but that's what happens when you do something that you shouldn't. I mean, I feel bad when anybody loses their life, but when you lose it stupid and it's your fault, you just got to say, let a stupid person be stupid. You know, it's a shame that all of this is happening. I just want us to pray, man. And like Rod said, my mom, she actually goes to DC 4 times a year with her job, fair housing and stuff like that. So they go to the capitals and different places. She was saying during the whole thing, there's no way those people can get in there like that. She said, when I go to one of these offices, when she used to go and have do different things with like Kamala Harris and all of that, they have you walk through like private tunnels. They walk you to the offices. They do this. You just can't walk up in there like that. Mm-mm. And for those people to just get in there and parade, because that's what they did. Parade, left notes, threatening notes, took pictures, selfies, all of that. And then you have the people that's supposed to protect you that are taking selfies, telling these guys that they're doing well. That, you know, it's just where we are as a whole, man. It's sad, and I feel like it can only get better after the 20th. But I feel so bad for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris of what they're coming into. People are gonna want things to change right away. It's gonna take 4 years to even get back to anything that's remotely decent. And it's going to have to take people to cooperate as well. It's a great thing that we took the Senate and we can, and so things will happen faster. And I do believe that. But yeah, man, what happened yesterday is going to definitely go down in the history books. And what's going to happen in these next 10 days, something else will probably go down in the history books. And it's just a sad day for a nation, man, that we have to actually live and go through this during COVID. And you notice those people out there really didn't have masks on either. Super spreaders. Super spreaders.
What pandemic, huh?
So, yeah, thank you, all three of you, for that. Normally, I would throw in a joke. Right, I won't pass it up. So, Rod, we talked about, or one of you guys, or two of you guys just talked. Oh, it was Trey. Talked about Denise being taken through secret tunnels and all of that. You, as one of the original architects of the rotunda and all of that, and all of the infrastructure, like, tell us about the tunnels. Tell us about the path that Denise has taken in the past. Like, talk us through.
He didn't use no measuring tape either. He used his hands just like this.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it.
AC has come from a long line of shoe throwers. And I was surprised that he didn't run on the main chamber floor and throw a shoe at one of the senators, because he comes from a long line of them.
So my line of shoe throwers is different than you may imagine. I come from the Jennifer Hudson line of shoe throwers. When you throw a shoe on stage when somebody's singing, that's the shoe thrower.
But no, that brings up another point. I mean, we don't know what happened underneath, because there's basically like a whole city.
We can only speculate, but
there are tunnels that under all of those buildings.
Yeah.
One in particular leads from Congress to the library, which I used to use frequently because I was always at the Library of Congress. And there are a lot of tunnels and a lot of places underneath that you don't see above ground. And we don't even know if that was breached or if there was damage underneath there.
Yeah.
There are offices underneath.
So
it's crazy, man.
All right. Thank you for that, Rod. So we have a comment from Nisha Rodney Saucier. You want to read it, Rod?
My wife says what happened yesterday is what the U.S. has been doing to other countries since the history of its time. Now evil is turning on itself.
The chickens are coming home to roost, Bobby Boucher.
Be right back. Gotta go to the garage real quick, guys.
Okay. Trey Hop, ladies and gentlemen. He comes at us in many different ways, many different forms. Oh, we get the ceiling and a bit of the TV. All right. We could just turn the video off. Ignorance is loyal to ignorance, straight up. So, Rodney, you keep giving me these layups. We want to talk about serious stuff, but now you can talk about when you used to frequent the Library of Congress. So, when you put the first book in the Library of Congress, did you buy it or was it handed down from, Frederick Douglass or like?
Hey, man, I got it as soon as you wrote it. You gave me the first copy.
Okay. All right. Anyway, shout out to our viewers. Shout out to our listeners. We're going to stay serious, but I have to joke with Rod each episode or else it's not us. And then I haven't done my intro in a couple of weeks. What's up, McElroy? You good? You chilling from afar? Or are you coming on?
Come get my spot, Jimmy. I got to go to a Zoom at 12:30.
Yeah, we only have AC Sports Live for another 8 minutes. What's up, Simeon? Simeon Henderson, Mr. Chicago.
I might jump back on. We'll see how long my meeting goes.
Let me get my back. All right. Be safe, brother. Let me get my little intro. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a podcast to step to. Think of how many podcasts you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you. All right, this is episode 43. We are live. This is the Collective Podcast. All right, watching movies. This is the Collective Podcast. I'm AC. I got Rodney here. I got Trey here. And then I got my man AC Sports Live. Trey is here, even though we're looking at his ceiling and he did mute it. We were just, hey, Elaine Williams, what's up? What's up? We were just talking about the travesty that took place yesterday, is taking place today. I love the fact that the mayor of DC, Mayor Muriel Bowser, got up there and commended the MPD, the Metro Police Department, for taking the action that they took when they were asked to take action. Because again, this was happening on federal land, so she wanted to make it clear. I want to make it clear. Rodney can probably make it clear too that this was not. Well, it's not a state. This was not district property. So this was not anything that MPD could be protecting unless they were asked to come in. This was the Capitol Police Department, the U.S. Capitol Police Department, that essentially invited these thugs into the Capitol and actually took some selfies. Rihanna showed me this, took some selfies with them and all of that. Just a disgusting presence. But when the MPD were called to action, they took action. And then you have Chief Robert J. Conti III, who is the chief of the Metro Police Department, who also made it clear that when they were called to action on federal land, they did actually take action. But people were trying to say that the mayor wasn't prepared and MPD wasn't prepared. No, she asked for National Guard in December for everything leading up to this. But again, you have federal land, federal property that states, districts, other municipalities cannot get involved with. So please understand that. All right. We got people on here. What up? Y'all, somebody talk. We got
just if you just look over the course of what's been going on, you see a pattern that each time Trump supporters gather to protest, there is always a lack of military personnel, and there's a lack of police officers in every single instance. Here in DC yesterday, Charlottesville, you can go down the line. For some odd reason, and we know what that reason is, it seems to be that when white people are gathering, law enforcement is not necessary. They know how to act. They're going to be peaceful. And when black people or people of color are gathering, we need all the military and police officers we can get in every location, whether it's Minneapolis, whether it's LA, doesn't matter. They automatically put police officers and the National Guard in place to make sure that Target and other businesses that they have nothing to do with remain intact. And it's sad. It's really sad. And people will justify it and say, well, hey, they were trying to stop the rioters and looters, but you got the Proud Boys and the people, along those lines telling you what they're going to do when they get there. They don't make it a secret. And you still feel like you don't need officers. You don't need the National Guard because everything's going to be peaceful.
It's
mind blowing.
It really, if you back up, Rod and AC, it really isn't, because go back to the origin of the police. What were they made? What were they organized for? To police black people, to create us back into slaves, because the Constitution says once you become a criminal, you now are, property of the state or whatever, and you become a slave again. So all them, the remnants of systemic racism way back from 400 years ago is still present. So when we see the lack of law enforcement in these types of atrocities, and them being okay with that, I believe Jimmy said they're complicit with what's going on. It's planned, man. It's like, okay, you guys go down there and act a fool. Oh, don't worry about it. We're not going to arrest you. And if you do, it's going to be for the weekend. It's like they plotted the whole thing. It's like, and right in your face, and it's gonna escalate fear amongst the people. Because how many bros gonna go out and grab some weapons now? Because if they can roll up on the Capitol, then they can roll up in your house. So you better arm up so the Civil War can be an arms war, and people will die and people will be afraid. And, and if all this is going down in these next 15 days or so, then we can't have a change in presidency because there's martial law. There's a lot of things that could happen in the next 2 weeks. So like I said, perilous times means we need to be on our prayer game big time, because there's nothing we can really do physically. We can't arm up in enough time to combat how many racist white Americans that are armed and ready to start a civil war. You see the shirts they were wearing, Civil War, MAGA, all this. I mean, I saw people with no arms and no legs in wheelchairs out there protesting, man. I was like, what am I looking at? This is the worst thing I've ever seen, man. It's crazy to see, but why am I not surprised, man? It's a shame that I'm not surprised, man. It's a shame.
Let me cut in real quick. Like this is amazing, and I want to quickly shout out our viewers that are contributing right now. Like I'm flashing them across the screen as we talk, but I just want to thank you individually. So shout out to Nisha Causey Saucier. That's Rod's wife. She's on. Our main man, Jim McElroy, the fourth, Go Bruins. He's on. Mr. Chicago, Simeon Henderson is here. Simbo, Be Symbolic. Elaine Williams. Shout out to Elaine Williams. I know I already shouted you out, but now I'm shouting you out again. Damon Glyph is on, contributing. Dietrich's with us every week. And then the reason I'm here, Judy Carter, my mom, she's on. And then my main man, Roddy T. This is a guy, I guess at this point, he is literally my oldest friend because I met him right before I met Trey. And Rod and I actually went to school together for 2.5 years in junior high and then half a year in high school. So we actually went to school together for 3 years. And Trey and I only went to school together for a half a year. But yeah, Roderick and I used to catch the bus to school in junior high, and we would stop at the Grinder restaurant. It was a restaurant. It's a restaurant called the Grinder. Shout out to Cobbs. He had to drop off. And we would eat there. Like I had a little money from chores and stuff like that. He had a little money. We would go there and eat before school. Like we were so responsible. We'd show up to school on time. Roderick Tennell, my main man. All right, now this is an elder statesman that just joined us. This is John Bailey, who I call Big Bailey. I don't think Trey calls him Big Bailey, but this is what I've always called this man. And Big Bailey, I thank you for joining us. This is the father of Toby Bailey and Moose, aka Ryan Bailey, who we all grew up at, well, not Mr. Bailey, but the rest of us grew up at the park, West Wilshire Rec Center, which was part of Pan Pacific Park out in the Fairfax district. And so that's where I met all of them. And then Big Bailey is a Bruin. Toby wound up coming to UCLA. And then after Ryan left, after Moose left Penn State, he came to UCLA. So there's a Bruin connection there. But just when you talk about a great man, you know, Big Bailey is an absolute great man. He's always been someone, Mr. and Mrs. Bailey, but I know Big Bailey well. He's always been a great role model, someone who's held people accountable for things, and just you know, someone who I've always looked up to. So I definitely appreciate you joining us. And yes, that is all right. So Damon is shouting him out, and then Jimmy Mack is letting him know that he attended UCLA with the Bailey boys. Good dudes. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, did I say what's up to Dietrich?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. And then my guy, okay, I feel like I didn't like shine on him though. My man Dietrich, Rodney and I have known Dietrich for a while, and Dietrich's a good guy too. Cobbs came back in, go Bruins, straight up. All right, so I don't want to spend the entire podcast on the Capitol, on the happenings and goings on of the Capitol, but I just want to point out that I was talking to Brianna yesterday, and I said I'm really, really, really thinking about the fact that it's disgusting how powerful Donald Trump is. And she said, okay, tell me more. And I said, well, if this dude, like just almost like a cartoon, if he just stood outside and said, enough, I lost fair and square, thank you for your support, everybody go home, everybody would have gone home without incident. Maybe some would have laid back and tried to convince him that no, he really won. But do you realize that this dude has still not conceded? And he's not only hasn't he conceded, but he's still saying that it was stolen from him and that he really won by a landslide. So when you have all of these deranged people, and yes, you've got to be deranged to still believe this. When you have all of these deranged people actually believing that this election was stolen and that there's this widespread voter fraud, that somehow it was so widespread that only he lost, not all of the other Republicans on the ticket in these places, in the tickets in these places, but that by a landslide. So somehow they just flipped Trump's votes with this widespread voter fraud, and it's just disgusting that he keeps this going and incites this riot. And he even tells them, like, if you play it back, he tells them, I'll be right there with you. So they're probably thinking if we tear stuff up enough, he will be right here with us and he'll be knocking down the door too. Kind of like things really did go down in 1776. But no, this is 2021 and this is not real. The shit that he is spewing is not real. And when you have the Republicans try to spin this today and say, oh, it wasn't really Trump supporters. Really? So all these people with all this Trump regalia, this was all a fix? The fix is in? All of these people who are in pictures, in photos with Trump, photos with Giuliani, photos with the Trump sons, all of these people who are now taking pictures throughout the Capitol are not really Trump supporters? Anthony Cobbs mentioned something that I shouldn't make this joke, but I will. Brianna and I were playing Nintendo Switch last night, and we were doing this one event where we were playing against Kayla and the computer, and we were really playing against the computer twice, but we made Kayla think she was playing. And so Kayla was the mushroom, and the mushroom didn't have arms. And so when he talked about the protester in the wheelchair, I thought about the mushroom out there protesting for Trump. And it just, I don't know, man. All right, we got a long one here from Jimmy Mack. So no, they wouldn't. We're past that point. This isn't about Trump losing that. Oh, that's the rules. Okay. What they're mad about is that they're losing a culture war in the country. They feel their privilege is disappearing and that they ain't what they can, and that ain't what they can handle. First a black male president and now a black woman VP. Facts. I do not disagree with you at all. But I do believe that, and I have been saying this for years, that people as racist and disgusting as they are emboldened by this fool leading our country. I do believe that they feel empowered and emboldened to be worse than they actually would have been publicly if not for this fool leading and inciting them. So that's why I keep bringing him up. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, man, I just, I've always kind of likened him to like Jim Jones. Like this dude has a cult following.
He doesn't mean the rapper. He means Kool-Aid.
Definitely not the rapper. Yeah. I don't know if he has a following or not, but I don't.
He has a following, Ryan. You can't Jim Jones.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
Jim Jones, the cult leader. Go ahead, Jim Jones.
But the cult leader, Jim Jones. I mean, the way he says something, and these people just cling to every word is crazy to me. And I'm glad to know that we have 2 seats flipped in the Senate. I think that will help. But we definitely have to do our part. We have to put pressure on Biden and on the senators that are in now to make the changes we need while we have it this way. We can't feel like, okay, Biden's coming in, so everything's going to get better. Everything is not automatically going to get better unless we force it to happen. We have the pieces in place to now get some legislation passed, and we haven't had that. And we have to make sure that our voices are heard in these next 4 years, because if Trump doesn't get impeached and if he's not removed, then he has the ability to run again in 4 years. And depending on how Biden's administration handles situations, Trump could very well get back in. This is not going to be an easy 4 years. Biden's going to have to convince some people that he knows what he's doing. And hopefully the Democratic Party has some alternate plans in case he struggles. Some people in place that they are grooming for the position of presidency, in 4 years in case he stumbles. because this is not going to be easy.
So I agree that it's not going to be easy. And I'm gonna let Trey talk in a sec. I do agree with that. But Rodney, I don't know if Damon is right, but I believe that yesterday. But I don't know that Damon is wrong. I'm hoping Damon is right. So let me go with that. I think that as of yesterday, as much as he thinks that this is probably his shining moment, I think this goes down as his the biggest focal point of his legacy. And I don't think there's any chance of him winning another Republican nomination. And I know I may be in the minority, but I hope we have at least the next 16 years with Biden and Harris. But I don't think there's any chance of Trump getting the nomination in 2000. What year are we in? 2024 or 2028? I think that his time as an elected leader is done. Now he'll still have a cult following, but I don't think that he's going to have the support of. His supporters inside are too much of a minority now, in my opinion. And I think that yesterday sealed the deal for that. Now he'll still cause trouble, but I'm not saying that you're wrong about Biden needing to prove something, or someone will run against him. Someone credible can run against him on the other side, but it won't be Trump. And I think that the Republican Party has a lot of work to do to separate themselves from the Republican Party. And that dude can't get elected again.
Well, we wouldn't want him to.
I don't think he can. No, I don't think he can.
Well, you do have some people jumping ship because they want to save their own necks for their elections. But best believe, knowing that he can have 70 million people vote for him, he's not out of the picture.
That's exactly what
By no means is he out of the picture.
That's what I was saying. Because, yeah, it wasn't 70 million people out there yesterday. However, these people that voted for him, they knew that could happen. And they've been following his nonsense for years.
Right.
So take away 2 million people. It's still 68 million people that would vote for him after this, which is still. You said what?
No, you haven't even really had a chance to talk, so I'm not going to cut in. I'm sorry.
Oh, gotcha. But I think what's going to save it, where he's not going to, and who was that put had a message down there at the bottom? I couldn't see it. It's so small on his cell phone. Was it Damon or something that said he would be in jail?
Yeah, Damon Glyph.
Yeah, that will. Oh, Damon Glyph, what's up, man?
Yeah, Big Bailey is on. Like
Damon.
Big Bailey, Damon's on. You missed a couple. Yeah.
What's going to save us? All he gotta do is go to jail. If he go to jail and is actually convicted with some of this stuff, he can't run.
But
just stop it right there. Put him in jail.
That's the thing. And now you have some people who are afraid to use the 25th Amendment or try to impeach him because it's like every time he clears himself of it, it's more like, look at me. See, told you. They can't touch me. I'm invincible. I'm good. Mm-hmm. And that makes him bigger than life.
Rodney, I think the big thing for me, and again, we don't have to belabor this point, but I think the big thing for me, or I know the big thing for me, is that some of his supporters were subject to die yesterday, and that's a game changer. That's what I'm saying. That's a game changer. Like he's not going to get out of things unscathed. There are still some morons, Howley, and don't let me forget the other names. Like who's the? Why do I only think of Howley? Well, there are a couple other ones that's, and I'm talking about in the Senate, that stuck with him on this and still came back in. And Howley is the main one, but that came back in and said, "Yeah, this has been a great wrong that's been done." But I think by and large, people, not the people that were there, but millions of people and millions of Trumplicans are going to see that Yeah, they bet on the wrong horse. Like,
it was
dangerous.
definitely it was a change
More
in
dangerous
tone.
than they ever realized. We knew how dangerous he was, but they didn't know, and now they know because they almost died.
Mm-hmm.
But they still feel that he's the best president since Ronald Reagan.
And guess what? Yesterday,
And
as
we know how
long as
Ronald
yesterday
Reagan
was, it was gonna be that long if everything would have went smooth and there was no chaos outside, because they were going to go state by state in alphabetical order and deliberate for 2 hours in between and then come back and waste all of this time. But after all that chaos, I think that was the last straw. They were moving like this. They were like, listen, it's time to move on. Too much is going on. We're not even backing you anymore. That was one good thing to see, if I can say, if there's anything good out of that.
Yeah. So, but Rodney, I'm not willing to bet on anything that I'm saying. I just really do. I'm convicted that I do feel this way though. But I don't bet. So I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say, Rod, he don't bet. He's not gonna bet.
Yeah,
I'll bet you. No.
But hold on, I gotta do one more introduction because at least one more person has joined us that I haven't shouted out, and that's Rylan Hugh. Listen, y'all.
Rylan.
Listen, let me give you a quick background on Rylan. Rylan is actually he's from New York, but he went to school in that area. Rylan went to College Park. Rylan went to the University of Maryland and was the first. Rylan, help me get this right, because I know you came after Jim Brown. You were the first 3-year black letter winner in lacrosse in the ACC, or like, I know that Jim Brown did things at Syracuse, but then you did things at Maryland that rivaled the things that he did. So let me tell you, Rylan was a 3-time All-American at the University of Maryland playing lacrosse. And Rodney probably remembers this because Rodney was his coach when he was coming up in that area. But anyway, I just want to shout out Rylan. Rylan's a great guy. He's from upstate New York, but has been great for lacrosse worldwide. He is currently the coach of the Panamanian national team for lacrosse. So I just want to shout him out. All right, cool. Rylan, welcome to the show. I think it's your first time coming through. All right, you guys can keep talking. I'm going to just flash everybody's comments across. Y'all can't be reading.
So we got two senators that flip seats. And so while we're on sports, I want to definitely give a huge shout out to the players from the Atlanta Dream in the WNBA. They had a huge part in Warnock getting elected. And they didn't just start this a few weeks ago with the runoff. They've been passing out T-shirts and blowing him up on social media and doing all kinds of things to broaden his platform for close to a year. And that ultimately will help everyone in the country with these Senate seats being flipped. So definite shout out to the Atlanta Dream.
So definitely, and if you guys are not really clear, because Rodney will lull you to sleep with his cadence. Kelly Loeffler is a co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, and she was the incumbent for the seat that Warnock took. So there was a runoff between Loeffler and Warnock. And can you imagine being a co-owner of an organization and the players for that organization are outwardly campaigning against you because you are a disgusting individual? And that's what the Atlanta Dream did. That's what the WNBA players did on most teams. They shouted out against her because she is the one, Loeffler, who said the WNBA should not be getting involved in anything political. They shouldn't have anything about Black Lives Matter. They shouldn't have anything saying say her name. They shouldn't have anything saying Breonna Taylor. Kelly Loeffler was opposed to all of that. And so she was actually censured by the dream themselves, and they put her in a role where she couldn't be fan facing, but she kept the same ownership stake. And the players actually tried to get her to sell her shares, but they weren't successful in that. But they bumped her out of office. So, haha.
Yep.
All right, let me clarify. Ryland is the first Black All-American in lacrosse out of Long Island. He is from Long Island, New York. First Black All-American, and it's the Olympic team from Panama. So he is the Olympic coach for the country of Panama's lacrosse team. Bam! I think I fixed it. And he's a phenomenal former player who will still bust your butt in Masters lacrosse, and he's a great coach. Right now.
We missed his other big highlight. He's the only Black coach in lacrosse to win a collegiate championship.
Oh.
Bam.
Well,
that's you.
All right. Well, let me.
That's you.
I'll get to that and flash it. So Jim, I think they saved him to a point, but I just listen. I don't think that we know what's about to happen. I think that this is about to get, like Trey said, we don't know what can happen over the next 13 days. But I think that the things that are going to happen to Trump are going to be unprecedented, and he is going to have a couple of rude awakenings. All right, let's see what Big Bailey said. Trey, you want to read that? Oh, no, you got your phone.
I got my cell phone.
All right. This is Big Bailey. Adolf Hitler's model of indoctrination is closer to Trump's model. Heaven knows that if he had 4 more years, our democracy would truly be in trouble. This person has based his platform on holding on to the last vestiges of white privilege and power. Totally agree he is not done. His support from law enforcement was evidenced yesterday with 14 arrests. And mind you, those 14 are the 14 from the Capitol Police Department. Only 14 from them, and they were the first on hand. Think about that. Only during this insurrection. Keep up the great job, young fellas. Thank you so much, Big Bailey. We appreciate you. And we love you. We love you. Judy Carter, they know he's a moron. They do. They do.
Hey, real quick shout out to my guy, my brother, Damon Glim. Man, go check him out over at Posh. If you're looking for a car, man, he'll take care of you. Black-owned business over there, man. He's doing his thing. Check him out. Posh. I don't know if it's Posh Motorsports or just Posh. POSH. Check him out.
He can get you what you need. Damon, go ahead and post it, and I'll shoot it across the screen. Wayman Wiley, what up, bruh? I'm shouting everybody who shows up for the first time. I'm shouting you out. What's up, Way?
What's up, Wiley?
Wayman is my first. Well, he's my only. Right? Wayman was my high school football mentor, and he was the one who put me on the field first. I was shadowing him at a JV game at Southeastern, and he said, "Hey, you want to step on the field?" And I said, "Yeah." So he was supposed to shadow me, working his position, but he was like, "Nah, it's okay. You go ahead and work." And then he went to the middle of the field and worked umpire. So we worked a 4-man crew instead of a 3-man crew, and that was like week 0 for me as a football official my first year. So he really got me ready. So he was my first mentor ever and my only high school mentor. So shout out to Wayman Wiley. All right. And then we've already recapped Ryland's accomplishments.
He's got a long list of them.
And he's also the only Olympian that Rodney ever coached. And mind you, Rodney coached him in middle school. So be clear, Rodney's been around for a very, very, very long time. Okay. I'm going to just bump through this. There you go. All right. So do you guys want? All right. So let's keep it here. So Stacey Abrams, almost governor of Georgia, but not governor of Georgia, but instrumental in getting out the vote in Georgia, both for the general election and for the runoff election. Am I off on that?
No.
Okay. So, Stacey,
can y'all hear that in my background?
Yeah, it's okay though. It's not distracting. Stacey Abrams, very important to getting people to vote, period, right, on both sides, but especially important in helping turn that conservative state over. And, and whether you wanted it turned over or not, it's important to note that in those 2 runoffs yesterday, you now have a black preacher in one of the seats and then a white Jewish man in the other seat.
Right.
And so they flipped a white man and a white woman who were on the other side. And these are just things that don't happen a lot in the South, don't happen a lot. Well, don't ever happen in Georgia. It's the first for both of them. Yeah, I can't say don't happen a lot in Georgia. Rodney, I don't know, back in the days before record keeping happened, Rodney, like when you guys were just keeping records on stone tablets, we don't know if it happened, but you would let us know. Oh boy.
Well, when you were Ray Charles, it wasn't happening.
This is monumental. Now, this is Anthony Carter Sr. That's my dad.
Big AC.
That's my dad on there.
Pops, what's up, Pops?
And even got a comment in. All right.
I call him Racer X.
And why do you call him Racer X, Rodney?
You guys drive just alike. You're Speed Racer and he's Racer X. He's just showing you the ropes.
That is crazy. Okay, more accomplishments from Ryland. 2 black lacrosse players in the Hall of Fame. He's one of them. He's got a day named after him. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, the real president, right? President Obama. Shout out. And so Damon shouting out Trey for mentioning Posh, no doubt. Posh Luxury Imports. Posh Luxury Imports for our listeners.
And he can get you a car all the way from a Volkswagen Beetle all the way up to a Lamborghini. So he can get you anything that you need. So go check him out.
I hope I get a stimulus check. I'm coming to see you for a Lamborghini.
And if you need to get some financing before you go see Damon, holla at me. Recon Credit Repair. We'll get you right.
Can he finance 294,000?
So Dietrich says thank you to Stacey Abrams for fighting voter suppression in Georgia. So listen, there's a coach. I can't. You know what? I think I remember his name. I don't even have to look it up. So there's a coach, or there was a coach. There once was a coach until he got fired. Chris Malone out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, assistant football coach, was fired today for tweeting the following to Stacey Abrams yesterday. This is Chris Malone, Coach Chris Malone. Congratulations to the state, Georgia, and Fat Albert at Stacey Abrams, because you have truly shown America the true works of cheating in an election again. Enjoy the buffet, big girl. You earned it. Hope the money was good. Still not governor. He was immediately fired. He was fired before he could delete the tweet and before he could delete his account. And then his words were condemned by the Chattanooga, Tennessee AD and the Chattanooga, Tennessee head coach. But when I talk about people being empowered and emboldened by this fool to let out how they feel, and this is the thing. I know that people say, well, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Well, yeah, but when the devil I know is actually acting on these inhibitions, then that's different. And so I am glad that this fool felt empowered by the other fool to spew the lies, but also insult the Honorable Stacey Abrams and ultimately wind up getting fired. No, I know Chris Malone make you think he's black, but no, he ain't black. Here, as a matter of fact, I'll share his picture with you for you, Wayman. It probably would have been a different story if he were black. Nobody black is gonna act like that. They're not.
But check this out.
Those things.
So you got this fool that's doing something for another fool. The fool loses his job. This other fool, he has to understand he don't even care about him
at
not
all.
one
Could care
bit.
less. Could
Not
care less.
one bit. You're doing foolish things for a fool that doesn't care about you. And you know, it's now this guy's kids, if he has kids, is gonna have to suffer because he don't have no job. And it's gonna be really tough to get another one. But again, you have to be responsible for your actions.
That's the thing. You people have to be held accountable. And I mean, like this dude, first of all, one of the things that we learn, and I'm not saying it's the same in coaching, but one of the things that we learn in officiating is we can have our opinions and all that, but you have to be very careful about the things that you say and how you say them. And so why is this dude? I'm just wondering, why are you, whether you insulted someone or not, why are you speaking on, as a representative of the university, because that's exactly what you are, why are you speaking on the election? And like, you're in Tennessee, but you're talking about what happened in Georgia, and you're saying, you're spewing the same things that Trump is saying. And why are you this comfortable? Why are you comfortable enough to speak out on a public platform while representing a public university and think that this is okay as an assistant coach? It's not like this is Saban. This is an assistant coach at Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Right.
And I'm glad they handled it. I'm glad they didn't sweep it under the rug. I'm glad they got rid of him. But yeah, I mean, he knew what he was doing, Trey. So I don't feel bad for his family. Like, whatever. Like,
it's so funny.
Right. No. Yeah, I don't feel nothing.
Yeah.
To watch to a game that you were reffing, and it was a coach that just constantly stayed in you and your partner's ear.
Yeah.
And you kept giving him a chance after chance after chance. And then threw him out. And wait, he must have forgot that he was coaching the game after that too.
Yeah.
You threw him out of that one, just told him he couldn't stay and coach that team.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing.
Yeah, like,
and he tried to say, well, no, it's another team right now. It's another game. He said, yeah, but you're still thrown out. You're thrown out. Yeah.
Yeah, because no matter the level, so say pro sports, because that's not what we're talking about, but no matter the level, if you get tossed from a game, then you're sitting out your next game. No matter the level, no matter the league. And I know that that's the case in LA Unified. And so this was a high school lacrosse game. This is what you're talking about, right? How about you guys when you and Britt were there? Yeah, it's a high school lacrosse game. And so you just got tossed. I imagine you'll be tossed for the next, you have to sit out the next day for sure. But you definitely have to sit out the second game today. Like, nah, dude, you get out of here. You got to go. Go get your AD if you think you can stay, because your AD will let you know too. And we shouldn't have even had to regulate that. But it was one of those fools that was not so much emboldened or empowered by Trump, but he was emboldened and empowered by the thought that a black man cannot be a lacrosse player or a lacrosse official and be effective. And what he didn't realize is he was dealing with the best lacrosse official in Southern California, black or otherwise. And so he got handled. And there you go.
Hear that flex, Rod?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that flex. Yeah, I heard that flex.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, all right. What's up? Shout out to Wayman. So that I tried to bring in Chris Malone so that we could transition to sports. I once again want to thank everybody for contributing thus far, and I want to say stay. And as a matter of fact, those of you who are watching, why don't you type in where you're watching from? Yeah, not so much the conduit, so I don't need to know Facebook or YouTube because I can see that. But where are you physically? Where are you geographically? Just type it in. We want to share that. Yeah, Wayman. Yeah, you see, he said AC should flex a little bit. This is my first sports officiating mentor. So there you go. All right. So a lot to unpack. My guy Steph, 62 points. Yay. Then he got 13 last night. I don't know what happened last night, Trey. I didn't watch the game or the highlights, but I looked up and I saw they lost, and I don't ever want the Clippers to win. And so I saw that they lost, and then I saw that Steph only had 13, and I saw he played 35 minutes. So I'm like, did they literally have this dude in handcuffs, or did he hurt his groin, or what happened? Rod?
I don't know. As soon as he hit the 62, I saw the memes popping out on social media saying, yeah, he's the best shooter in NBA history. And who would you pick between he and Reggie Miller and such and such and such and such to take the last shot? And then he had 13 and the memes were quiet again.
So I see you want to have this fight, and you want to try to use my question against me. So let's do it. We can have this fight. No, we can have this fight because they already had this fight on whose podcast? Was it Jimmy or was it yeah, it was on Jimmy's podcast, right? So we talked about, or was it on Anthony? Whose
Can
podcast
you guys hear me?
when we talked about this?
I think that was on AC. Anthony.
Okay. So, I know I was in the minority, but and Reggie Miller's a Bruin. But listen, you can say what you want to say. Okay, Wayman. You can say what you want to say. This dude was an integral part of 3 championships. And if not for the NBA stealing the original third one, which they had to win again, the original third one, where they suspended Draymond Green, he might have 4 championships. So, yes, he's never hit a game winner, but he's hit many, many, many clutch shots, and he's got 3 rings. And even with Reggie Miller mugging Greg Anthony 3 times and scoring 8 points in 9 seconds, our fellow Bruin has no championships after where did he go to school? I know they were the Bruins. What's the name of his school? It's out here. What's the name of his school?
Riverside Poly.
Riverside Poly, Bruins. He has no championships after Riverside Poly. So I'm going with Steph. And Steph didn't win in college, just like Reggie didn't win in college. But come on, man. He didn't hit game winners, but he hit shots that mattered and to the tune of 3 rings. And some would say, and counting.
I will say it's much easier for him to hit shots when the floor is spaced with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, who are arguably 2
Why are
other.
you still talking about Kevin Durant?
Wait.
Stop doing that. You sound like him. Nobody talk about Kevin Durant.
Wait. Versus Reggie doing it and not having the floor spread it with Mark Jackson or Haywood Workman.
Oh, that's who you
I missed what was said.
You got a lot more real estate to work with when you got Klay Thompson over here and Kevin Durant over here than you have with Derek McKee and Haywood Workman.
Wasn't Rick Smith like the best big man passer in the game? Like you kick it into him, and
I don't go for all that big man passer and soft hands. I don't go for all of that. Either you can play or you can't.
Hold on, Dietrich. So Dietrich picks and chooses when he likes to bay. So Dietrich, whatever that his actions did not get him suspended. That was. We don't want the Warriors to win. And so they took that from them. Yeah, you could say actions this and actions that, but there are so many actions from players that don't get penalized like that. So did he do, quote unquote, did he do the crime that could lead him to do that time? Yes. But was it common for them to dole out that kind of time for that kind of crime? No, Dietrich. And be real about that. Be real about that. And I'm not talking about Cypress Hill when I say be real.
And like they gave Draymond a flagrant foul last night. That wasn't a flagrant foul. It was not a flagrant foul at all. Their arms got locked up. That's it. And then he tried to help Kawhi up on the fall. Like, hey, are you all right? And so forth, man. No, that was Draymond. So that's why he got that foul.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Rodney. The league thinks much like you. You think Draymond's good, but Draymond's, you call them antics, are not good. So they penalized his antics, and that's what happened. Oh, not talking to you, Rod. I'm talking to Dietrich. Yeah, we won't we won't agree on that one. Oh, well, Wayman says you have a great point.
What did Rod say about Steph?
That he's a waste of air. No, he said he's good, but not clutch. He didn't say that. The argument, it was Anthony's podcast because he kept talking. He kept every time he would say clutch, he would say Anthony Carter. So the argument was that Steph is not clutch. So then they started naming all these people without championships. They named Hersey Hawkins. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
who said Steph's not clutch?
Everybody but me on that podcast.
Well, no, I don't think the question was he's not clutch. I think the question was, is clutch and a key shot maker the same, or can you be good at one and not good at the other? So what he was saying was Steph makes key shots, but we haven't seen him make clutch shots,
which is stupid. Because what the qualifier, here's the qualifier, Trey. And I said this. I said that was stupid. The qualifier is that you haven't made a clutch shot if you haven't made a game winner. So that's his definition of clutch as they kept talking became game winners only. And I'm like, no, there are plenty of clutch shots that are not game winners.
But he's made a lot of game winners too.
Well, apparently he hasn't made any game winners. When we look back on it.
That's not true. He has made game winners.
The final shot, well, what they said, so let me clarify that. What they're saying by game winner is not to put you up by 6 or not to put you up by 8, but under 24 seconds, like the final shot, under 24 seconds. He's like 0 for 7 in his career. That's what they're talking about. So they said not clutch because of that. And I'm saying you're nuts.
And see, I never agree with those things because people put these things together.
Now he doesn't agree with it.
No. Now I'm sticking with my story that I think Reggie Miller is the best shooter. That's not changing.
Come on, don't do that.
Don't do that. Then it went to well, Reggie wasn't shooting off the dribble, but that's not what makes you the best shooter. Either you can shoot, you can shoot.
Reggie couldn't shoot like Clay, man. Reggie could shoot.
Clay is up there. Clay is underrated. I mean, people look at Steph and forget about Clay. Clay is the one who broke the record for a quarter.
Yes, so Steph has the range. Steph has the off the dribble.
So did Reggie Miller.
But as far as spot up shooter, shoot real quick off a pass, Klay Thompson got that all day long.
They all have different things that they could do. I'm not.
But you know what they don't all have? They don't all have 3 rings. So I'm taking Clay and Steph.
I'm not even talking. The rings are not even a factor as far as shooting. I mean, you can shoot, but Reggie faced tougher defense than Steph and Clay, and that's why.
Not Clay.
What are you talking about? Not Clay. Did Clay have to face Michael Jordan? No.
Clay guards the best. Why? Because he was too
Clay
young.
Has never been guarded. You didn't hear what I said. I said he faced tougher defenses.
He's not saying Clay's not a great defender. He's saying
there are no tough defenders in the NBA right now.
Clay doesn't have to face Clay, and Clay doesn't have to face Draymond.
Exactly.
So that's what he said.
Okay.
And
exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Let me get some of these comments in. So I agree with you, Elaine, but specifically Cobbs, McElroy, and them were saying that clutch is only game winner. So I didn't really have a leg to stand on at that point. I kept fighting for Steph, and they never brought Clay up. Conveniently, I kept fighting for Steph, but they were saying that it meant game winner. So I backed out of it. And by the way, damn, it keeps going down. I love Reggie Miller. Mostly because he's a Bruin. I didn't like him at all as a Pacer, but I respected him. You know, that's the thing. I knew he was great and I respected him, but you know, I love Pat Riley. So when he punches Greg Anthony in the eye and then elbows him in the mouth and then trips him, steals the ball and then scores 8 points in 9 seconds, and then it's like, oh, this is the greatest sequence of all time. Yeah, it was, because the officials didn't call any of it. So I get it. They didn't call any of it. But as a fan who didn't like the Pacers, like, boy, that was That was disgusting. But McElroy, I want to go back to what you said, that he could easily be 2-2 because you said Love and somebody were injured. Well, let's be clear. He's got 3. So I think you're saying he could be 2-3, but he could just as easily be 4-1. And I think the 4-1 is more realistic than this. Going back to this, the 4-1 is more realistic than the 2-2 or the 2-3 that you are professing. Now I'm going to go against you, Dietrich. I think that the defense. So you knew it. So Steph and Clay did everything they could offensively, but this dude was out of his mind defensively, and that's why I love Andre Iguodala. And I believe that the defense was the difference in that first final. So I'm definitely fine with Andre Iguodala getting MVP there.
Man,
like, you have to give Finals MVP.
And check this out.
To be my favorite on the squad. Remember, Kobe didn't get any of those first 3, but I'll take Kobe over Shaq in a heartbeat.
And here's the thing: if the Warriors get that, if Draymond doesn't get suspended that game, then the Warriors only get 2 rings. They never get that third one because Durant would have never went to the Warriors.
Okay, you sound crazy.
You think he'd have went to the Warriors after a championship?
I don't think. Yep. Listen, they didn't need Kevin Durant.
No, we're talking about Kevin Durant. Yeah,
they just dispatched his ass, and then he came.
You don't get.
I'm not saying he didn't help. I'm saying they didn't need him. But you do sound like Cobbs and McElroy the other day.
No,
they
listen.
Didn't need Durant.
Check this out. Harrison Barnes was having a terrible series. If he shoots well in that series, Durant doesn't say, I can fill his spot.
Yeah, he would. If he knew, he could be there. That's an upgrade. That's an upgrade, Trey.
And that was always trying to upgrade. And that was right after the war. That was the same year that the Warriors came back on OKC from down 3-1.
That's an upgrade. Teams are always going to try to. You mean to tell me that you wouldn't trade Harrison Barnes for Kevin Durant?
Can I say something?
Right, but if they win that championship, I don't think Kevin Durant comes to that team.
Kevin Durant was ready to leave Oklahoma City, so he wanted to go somewhere. Why wouldn't he want to play with Steph and Clay?
So if that's the case, then they'd have won 5 in a row.
Okay, so and this is what I'm saying. You're not going to say no to him. So be clear what I'm saying. But actually, let me pause what I'm saying. If somebody want to talk about this blasphemy from this dude over here, this Bruin, talking about Larry Bird.
No.
Oh, no. Don't bring Larry Bird in the equation.
All right. So look at Mrs. Saucier. So let me be clear. I said they didn't need Durant. I'm not saying you don't take him if he wants to come. And let me be clear about Durant. No shade, but he's chasing King of the Hill, right? He couldn't win in any of his previous situations, so he went to a perennial championship contender to try to make a difference.
Why y'all doing KD like that, man?
Did he not?
Yeah.
TreVon.
No, but man, y'all. But y'all making it. You making it sound. You making it sound. Y'all making it sound like he went over to that team to just be like a role player just to get a ring.
No.
He went over to that team and took over. He was the team. He was the man all 3 years.
You're nuts if you're saying he was the team. Come on, dude. You sound crazy.
He was the man all 3 years.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't. He evolved into that last championship where he faced LeBron. He did not start like that.
He got 2 Finals MVP, right?
He did.
And he'd have got the third one if he
says who? Why are you saying that?
Because he was the MVP up until that point.
Listen, I don't want to stay on the Warriors. It ain't no Warriors fans in this whole podcast. But we could just beg to differ.
You know I'm a Steph fan. I was pulling for Steph all the time.
But yeah, Trey, but let's beg to differ on Durant while he sits in New Jersey as a co-coach with Kyrie Irving. He's still chasing King of the Hill. That's all I'm saying. But let's look at this. I want to respond to my guy, Anthony Cobbs. So thank you for clarifying. And Cobb says clutch is subjective then. To me, who would you want to shoot a playoff, saving, or winning shot? So Anthony Cobbs, my answer is actually Clay. But since Clay wasn't in the question, since it's Steph or the other guys not named Clay, even though he hasn't hit the winning one, he has hit the playoff saving one because he's forced overtime. But since he hasn't hit the winning one, Anthony Cobbs, I'm still going to take him because of the pedigree, because of the potential to do so at the big moment, even though he hasn't before. But I understand why you guys would take Ray Allen. I understand why some of you would take Larry Bird. I understand why some of you would, for whatever reason, take Hersey Hawkins. I get it. You're going to take some of these other people. I am going to take Steph in that argument because he has done everything that he's needed to do in 5 different championships. And yes, he's not a great defender, but no one was who I don't even know who that was. Was that Elaine? Somebody. We ain't even talking about defense because I'm
not talking about
defensive guy.
And check this out. And to back up Steph a little more. Everybody
make up your mind. Make up your mind. Eagles, Rams.
No, stop it.
SC.
Stop it. Everybody that never SC. Stop it.
I know.
For everyone out there that says Steph can only stand out and shoot wide open threes.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, Trey. Jim, I'm not even like I gotta come on 1585. What? Clay gets eaten up? What? Okay, you stop. You okay. Go ahead, Trey. This is bonkers.
So Steph had 62 the other night. Right?
Yeah.
He only had 4 threes. He knows he's not going to get those threes like that unless he's just pulling from super, super deep. So this year, I've been watching their games. Steph's been going to the rack, which he didn't have to do all the time when he had like Durant and Clay and all that. But a lot of people think that he can't get to the cup. He can just stand out and shoot. And he proved them wrong with that.
Well, in this era, you running through 10,000 picks. You go get your
Cobbs, get your teammate. What?
Kobe between those players on the Warriors, if it comes to clutch, Clay is shooting that last shot. Clay has hit the biggest shots on that team. Now, overall, who I would take for clutch, I'm going with Kobe.
But Kobe was no, but see, this is
somebody.
But they were talking about 3-point. They were talking about people who make threes for a living. So right. Kobe wasn't in the conversation. Because I'm going to take Kobe. I'm going to take Kobe and then Mookie Betts to do anything. Y'all already know me.
People are commenting outside of the people you were talking about, so that's the only reason I threw that in there.
Well, Jim McElroy was in it, and do you guys want to comment on this? Like, this is who's talking here? Like, where is this man that I respect so much, and where are you getting these takes from? All right, maybe I missed something. Is Pau Gasol in the Hall of Fame? Is Pau in the Hall of Fame?
Not now. And he probably will get in there based on being a European player, but not because he was great.
What is this? Kobe never won without a Hall of Fame big man. I'm taking Shaq. Well, Shaq never won without a Hall of Fame guard, so let's go with that. But
and Shaq was in foul trouble in each one of those championships that Kobe bailed him out of. Nobody points that out, even though Shaq got the MVPs. Shaq was sitting on the bench in the key moments of all of those series against Indiana, against New Jersey, and against Philly. And Kobe is the one who kept all that together.
And when Charles Barkley.
So that irks me when people holler, "Oh, but he was playing with Shaq."
Okay, but specifically here, because Kobe did get a 4th and 5th ring with Pau and meta world peace
and no shooters. Might I add? Can do it AC for the 10,000th time? Do I need to go through the list of shooters they tried to put around him?
We got a lot of comments to catch up on. Jim McElroy the 4th, you're wrong. There was no Hall of Famer playing with Kobe the 2nd time around. All right, Elaine Williams. Okay, I'm with that. If can't be defined. I agree with Che. I don't even know what that take was, but I'm sure it was something about Kevin Durant because I know. You chasing Kevin Durant like Kevin Durant is chasing King of the Hill. Yeah, Javon, Golden State was the first move, but it was a power move. He went to a spot with three All-Stars. And he forced that. So let's not play that game. And I have no problem with it because I like what Golden State did. I hate that Mark Jackson wasn't a part of it. But let's not play these games like he didn't pull a power move, just like LeBron did, and go there with 3 existing All-Stars and become the 4th. That literally happened. 4 All-Stars. So yeah, GS was the first move, but it's not like he was going to Charlotte. His first move could have been anywhere that he could they could put a deal together. So he wasn't going.
He didn't even tell his homeboy Russell Westbrook what he was doing. Had that man re-signing his deal, and he was like, "Deuces."
He evolved into the best player on the team, Jim. We didn't say that he wasn't. He evolved into. That's literally what Rodney said. He evolved into being the best player on the team. He didn't walk in as the best player on the team. I believe that when he's healthy, he's the best player in the league. Does that help? No, I don't. I think he's second to Kawhi. I'm sorry. I think he's the second best player in the league. I think
who's the best player in the league? You think Kawhi's the best player in the league?
But we don't have to belabor that point. It's okay. I do. Because I think he's complete offensively and defensively more than anyone else in the league. And you know how I am.
Agreed.
I'm defense first.
Agreed.
And that's not my only criteria because then that would make Clay second. And I don't think Clay is second. I do think that Durant is. But I think that Clay is in that complete player discussion. And Durant can play a little defense. So Durant's in there too. Yeah, I don't agree, Dietrich. I don't agree that they recruited him more than anything. Like, it's a subjective take. But like I said, you're not going to say no to Durant, but they didn't need Durant. It worked out, but they didn't need him. Like, they were inches away from winning that championship that before Draymond got suspended. So just think about that. They win that championship. It's a different, that's all I'm saying. But again, it's all subjective. We don't have to agree. I love the fact that we're going back and forth. I love the fact. See, this is like by far. Okay. Subjective, that's fine, but again,
that's what they went after Durant. Like Draymond Green went to his house, like sign here, we're not letting you go. They almost did like a Blake Griffin type deal.
But they didn't have to pull too hard. He was ready.
DeAndre Jordan, how they wanted him to sign. Like Draymond Green, he'll tell you he went after Durant.
He didn't have to pull hard.
And I'll let you know that Kevin Durant is not a GM. He's not a co-coach. And that's Bob Myers. That's Bob Myers. Go Bruins. And what I'm saying is you're not going to say no to someone who wants to leave and go to a contender. But I'm just saying he didn't need him. And it's just my point, my opinion that they did not need him. It's not to say that they didn't become better. I'm saying they became better. Because how can you not become better when you have a top 5 player coming to your team who develops into arguably the best player in the league?
Right.
But he was not there. He had proven nothing other than the fact that he could score at will. But what have you actually proven? What have you won? You get smashed by the Warriors every year. Oh, and then you jump ship and join the Warriors. Talking about the 80s, that shit would never happen unless your name is Dennis Rodman and what's the other dude? I'm not counting Oakley in that. Oakley got traded, but what's
all the Bulls
the other big man?
All the Pistons went to the Bulls.
Yeah, think of what's the big man's name?
John Sally, Dennis Rodman. They had James Edwards. They had all the old Pistons when they finally won.
What's the other one that starts with an R? Because I keep wanting to say Rodman, but it's not him. Anyway, yeah. Okay, yeah, Smoot. All right, shout out to David Smoot. We had another one who's a longtime viewer and listener came in. Elaine's never been a Warriors fan. Damon, this is a stretch. He wasn't by far the best player on the Warriors. He was just the best. And again, he hasn't won anything without the Warriors. I just want all of you guys to remember that. He had a whole big old career before the Warriors and hadn't won anything. I just want that to be out there, okay? Now we'll see what happens after that because he's now tried to put together a powerhouse in Brooklyn, and he is a co-coach, as he told us. Kyrie is a co-coach. Steve Nash is a co-coach. I don't know if Cobb's other guy is a co-coach too, but it go that system works both ways, except for the fact that the Warriors did win without him. He hasn't won without him. So we'll see. And I don't think that's what Rodney's saying, Dietrich. We know that boy Antonio Davis will get up there on the block and hip check your ass to death so Reggie could get by. So
yeah, and there's a difference. These are schemes now to increase offense. They didn't have that at the time. Teams weren't running that. This is Euro ball now.
Dude, I'm so far behind on these comments. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rod. Sorry.
Yeah. Euro ball is designed to score 150 points a game. That's why David Stern ushered it in, because he thought it would increase ticket sales. So it almost makes defense almost hard to play because you are getting pick and rolled all over the floor. Versus Reggie Miller was coming off down screens and actually working to get open. These guys don't have to do that. The defense switch everything. So when Steph gets over to a corner and they switch, he's shooting on Joe Schmo. He's not facing the same defender the whole game. Reggie got chased by Michael Jordan the whole game.
So here's the thing. Rodney is right. And that's one of the things that we have to live with, because Rodney penalizes this era because of the fact that defenders are not, I don't know if it's required or even allowed to guard the best player. The best defenders are not allowed to or required to guard the best player all night. And, we know that Kobe had many nights of locking the best motherfucker up on the other team. And it doesn't happen now, but it's not Steph's fault. But it's not.
That's a product of where we are.
Yeah, that's today's game.
Right. And so, but and I make this comment and I say this because in the Olympics, where all of this was starting to develop and you could see it coming, players like JJ Barea was hitting the US up for like 40. That tells you something. He wouldn't get 40 on Gary Payton or some of these players on a regular night in the NBA. He's not quick enough. He's not big enough, and it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. So once again, Trey is flexing on us. He's showing us a poster that was probably hand painted. It's a canvas. He's showing us the canvas that says "Happy Second Birthday, Kyler." Who has a canvas painted for their 2-year-old? I know I didn't have one for Kayla. Let me respond to this. Jimmy. And here's the thing. He's so clutch. They have to overplay him for the 3, so he gets to the rack. I have no argument for this. My favorite player locks Steph up. Be clear, Kawhi is my favorite player. I told you that, Anthony. It doesn't matter if Powell will be. The statement was that Kobe never won without a Hall of Fame big man. That's nuts. That is nuts. Because Kobe won without a lot of weapons. Kobe won without a shooter to help. Come on, man. Yeah,
so Jimmy Mack, Kobe didn't guard Iverson in the finals. Tyronn Lue did, and Derek Fisher did. Kobe guarded McKee, Aaron McKee, and Kobe was needed for offense, so he wasn't going to chase. That was designed by Phil Jackson. He wasn't going to chase Iverson all over the place, just like Jordan didn't guard the other team's best player for the first 3 quarters. He guarded them down the stretch of the fourth because he needed to save his energy. That's a Phil Jackson staple. If you watch Chicago, if you watch the Lakers, you know that Phil Jackson is not going to put his best offensive weapon on their best offensive weapon. He definitely doesn't want them to get in foul trouble. But there was a game prior to the finals where Kobe matched up against Iverson and locked him down to single digits. Now, I got that on video.
Yeah. And
so we can't, even though Kobe didn't win Defensive Player of the Year because he wasn't really trying to go after it, the dude was, he had no weaknesses.
Yeah. So Thank you for that, Rod. So yeah, Jimmy, yeah, they did. They won those first 3 championships with only losing 3 games. And you see that 4-2. Trey and I were in Staples Center for that Indiana. I was there for all those home games, but we were there together for Game 6. Huge. But that's not discounting the fact that Shaq was a liability on offense down the stretch, as great as he was. Now, yeah, I mean, if you're going to win the games, you're going to win the games. But let's go here. This is not the same thing. Now we're comparing Pau Gasol to Shaquille O'Neal, and that's not fair to Pau. Shaquille O'Neal was as close as you could be to a unanimous Hall of Fame player, a Hall of Fame choice throughout his entire career. Like, there was no doubt. Like, I just had to ask if Pau was already in. And here's the other thing. When did Pau retire? Like, has he already been on for a ballot, or did he just get nominated? I don't know. But Shaquille and Pau were not the same. Like, you can say, obviously LeBron's going to the Hall of Fame. You can say Kevin Durant's going to the Hall of Fame. We can't say that about – you can't just say that about Pau because we don't know.
Mm-mm.
We can imagine, but would he have gone without Kobe helping him get those 2 rings?
Definitely not, because we saw what happened against Dallas when he decided to stop playing because of the breakup of his girlfriend or whatever the case it was. He didn't even score double figures. That cost Kobe another ring.
Oh, this is what you were replying to. Yeah, Jimmy Mack, boy, you got some really, really interesting take. He got outplayed. Outplayed by the opposing shooting guard. So he got outplayed by the 2 teams that were combined to win 3 total games in those 11 finals games. They won 3 together of those 11. You're saying outplayed by Kobe. Boy, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah. I didn't even say.
Look back. Maybe it was the season prior, but look back and see what Iverson scored against the Lakers. And I guarantee you'll see a game with him having single digits, and that's the game Kobe guarded him. There wasn't anybody in the league that Kobe couldn't guard. I mean, the tapes don't lie. As he got older, he played a little bit less because he was required to do more. But when he needed to lock somebody up in that last 6 minutes or however in the fourth quarter, they didn't score. And he did. And mind you, he had no shooters on the team to spread the floor to make it easy for him on the other end. The dude was unreal. If you give him the same shooters that Michael Jordan had, John Paxson, Steve Kerr, some of the best shooters in the history of the game, and see what happens.
Yeah.
There would have, I mean, he's Michael Jordan 2.0. He doesn't get that kind of respect because people didn't like his standoffishness because he wasn't no club and let's kick it type of dude.
Right.
But that doesn't take away from his skill set.
Right. Rodney, can you interpret this for me? I don't understand it.
What? I don't know. I saw that earlier, but I don't know what it means.
Jimmy, I don't understand. I'm not clowning. I really don't understand that post. So I'm gonna wait for you to retype it. Yeah, so Jim, on this one, be clear. If the guy is seeking a team, then I'm not saying you don't go get him. I didn't say they didn't go get him. I said they didn't need him. And I also said when we're talking about somebody chasing, we're talking about Bob Myers, right? Because I made that clarification. I'm not talking about one of the players going after them because they don't actually make the decision. So I'm saying management wasn't in hot pursuit of Kevin Durant. But once Kevin Durant says, okay, I want to play there, then yeah, you would be irresponsible not to bring him in. Right. I never agreed with that idea that they shouldn't try to stack their team. Well, shit, Draymond might get suspended again. So make sure that you have somebody else there to take over. So yeah, you're not saying anything that I disagree with. Draymond went after him. I'm saying I don't believe the Warriors needed Kevin Durant. I do believe Kevin Durant needed the Warriors, and I do believe Kevin Durant became the best player on the team. Does that satisfy you guys? yeah, Steph didn't come through in the games that you're talking about, and I'm still impressed with his 3-2 finals record, especially since the second loss came with everybody being injured, kind of like the 49ers season this year. Damn, we got a lot of comments to catch up on.
Yeah. So I don't put a lot of stock in well, this person didn't get a ring, because in the previous era, people didn't ring chase. Like Reggie Miller stayed in one spot his whole 18 years. He wasn't gonna beat Shaq and Kobe. That's just or Jordan. Like if you have a team with Chicago and Indiana, unless Chicago makes changes to their team, Reggie Miller has no shot of beating Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. And it was the same for Karl Malone and John Stockton. They weren't going to have a rabbit chance in hell of beating Magic, ever. They come close, but as long as Magic had pieces in place to give the ball up to score, they weren't going to beat Magic. And so that's why a lot of those guys don't have rings. Yeah, they could have jumped and went to another location and teamed up together and did what the guys are doing now. But they didn't do it like that back then. And it wasn't that they couldn't, because a bunch of those players had a year of free agency. They just re-signed with their old team. Because I hear this narrative that, the players back then didn't have any power. Yes, they did. They could have said, hey, I don't want to be here, and left.
How else do you get Clyde Drexler on the Rockets?
Right. Or Rodney to Chicago.
Barkley on the Rockets, yeah. And all the movement to Chicago and Oakley between Chicago and New York. Like some of those were trades. But free agency existed, but most of the time you just stayed with your squad.
Now they do a better job. Agents and players do a better job now of keeping up with TV deals to getting the most out of that money than they did before. I definitely see that, but the power has been there. Now, maybe some of them didn't realize they had it, but it's been there. And the superstars knew what they had and knew that they could move, but they were into competition. They were into being the best at their position, and not like now where the All-Star game is just give me a 5.
Yeah. So
there's no competition level. It's like, okay, well, we don't have to see who the best center is anymore, because we don't have a center. We can have 3 centers on the floor or 4 centers on the floor.
Well, yes.
At that time, Barkley and Karl Malone wanted to see who was better. Which was it started when Duncan started making making it an issue about the All-Star game, about when Yao Ming came in. Yao Ming was getting all the votes in China, even though they said, the voting's not open to China. Well, how do you explain Yao Ming getting, all these millions of votes in his rookie season, and he can barely, move around in the paint? Yeah. Right. And so you wasn't going to start over Shaq.
Right.
So that means somebody is the odd man out. It was Duncan, because they had Duncan listed as a center. So they said, well, no, Duncan's in the power forward. Well, then if he was the power forward, what did that make David Robinson? It all became a mess at that point. And that's where you got this, maybe we just don't have to have a locked in position. Maybe we can just do this position stuff.
3 bigs.
Right.
All right, so Jim, thank you for clarifying. Now this all makes sense. You hate the Warriors. All right, thank you. That's all I needed to know, because I was wondering. But then you go back to this. You see what Toronto did. It's almost like you're in an alternate reality, like the people on the Capitol. And I'm not comparing you to them, but you see what Toronto did to them without KD. Was Clay? Come on, man. Just stop. It was Toronto's time. It was Toronto's time.
It was.
and there were injuries in GS, and you know that. Like I know you know that, so we're not even gonna play that game. I think you're just trying to get a reaction out of me, but I'm gonna give you a reaction on 1585. We're not doing it today. Defense is definitely lacking in today's NBA. We know that. Kobe is the biggest star, and he's shown he wasn't guarding Iverson. He wasn't guarding the human pinball machine.
No,
The
and
human
I've never
pinball.
seen Kobe average 15 in the playoffs, or anywhere for that matter.
Okay. So we're gonna, he didn't. He locked down bums. So you hate the Warriors and you hate Kobe?
Kobe locked down Russell Westbrook before he left. Even in his older stages, was he a bum?
Yeah, let's hear what you got to say about Russell Westbrook. Go Bruins. Kobe had 3 seasons to win without a. Okay, so let's be clear. Shaquille O'Neal has 1 ring without Kobe, and it was with Dwayne Wade, and he played for a whole bunch of teams and with a whole bunch of players. So just keep that in mind as you're taking shots at Kobe. Like, what is happening here?
I don't understand.
What? He's talking about in the finals. Kobe. Oh my God. All right. So just be clear. In this fucking podcast, Kobe is the best defender. Kobe is the best defender out of anybody that we've named in this podcast today.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me how I'm wrong.
He's arguably one of the best defenders to ever play. I don't.
That's arguably. Oh, we mentioned Jordan, so I'll defer. So
Jordan couldn't guard small guards, and Kobe could.
I know. But listen. But people think you're nuts sometimes when you make that blanket statement. So I'm saying, even if you feel it's Jordan, then there's Kobe. But like I can't believe what I'm reading. Rod Iverson went for 27 and won 1 game in the finals. It was 4-1 in the finals. It was 1. Okay. So you can look that up because that was your statement, Rod. Jimmy wants you to look that up and see when Kobe held him to single digits. He held him to a single digit. He held him to a single victory. How about that? 4-1. Powell make the Hall of Fame. All right. I don't care if Powell eventually makes the Hall of Fame. It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. It doesn't mean he had a Hall of Fame NBA career. It means that it more so means that he had a high impact on international basketball. And I'm not saying Powell wasn't really, really good, but we're not comparing him to Shaq. Even though I don't like Shaq as a teammate because I don't like what he did, and I know you guys may disagree. I don't like how he forced the Lakers to get rid of him because I feel like they could have done more things together, but he was done and he didn't want to get in shape, and he did want to get in shape in Miami, and he wanted to go be Robin for Dwayne Wade, but he didn't want to be Robin to Kobe. So, it's funny how there's a double standard from Shaquille. But, he won 3 championships in LA, so shout out to Shaquille. Just didn't like his tactics. That's what you're saying. Better than LeBron right now, yeah. That's my opinion, that they're better than LeBron right now. And I said, well, here's the thing. We can take Durant out of it because I haven't even watched his return. So Kawhi is better than him right now. And Durant was better than him before he got injured. The tricky thing is, how do you return once you come back from injury? So Durant was better than him when he got injured. That's what I'm saying.
All right, so we got about 13 minutes left. Can we get these playoff predictions? Football, we got NFL playoffs coming up.
Yes, I got the I have the Seahawks. Can the Steelers even get out of the first round? I have the Steelers at the Seahawks. I'm gonna stick with it. They can.
All right, I want to see everyone's answers. Colts and Bills this weekend, and then who else we have? We have Rams and Seahawks this weekend.
Oh, you want game predictions? Okay.
Yeah. Now I know ours. We predicted it. What?
Okay.
Last week.
So what do you guys have?
I want to see some of the answers.
Yeah. What do you guys have? Let me just acknowledge this real quick. Yes, Hall of Fame credentials. Well, That looks like a line for an average player in the 80s. But I hear you, Jimmy. That's good in the 2000s. So, okay. I said I hadn't watched Durant. I didn't say he wasn't better than LeBron. I just said okay. Of course, my dad, who jumped ship from the 49ers and went back to his childhood team, the Rams, when they moved back to LA, which is fair, chooses the Rams. What else what do you guys have? Rams at Seahawks. What do you guys have? We're moving on to football. I have one pick. My dad says Rams. Dietrich, Anthony, Jimmy, Elaine, David Smoot. Let's get your predictions. All right, what are the other games? We got 6 games this weekend.
We got Colts, Bills.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Javon Moore. Javon has the Bills at home. He has the Rams in an upset. He has the Steelers at home. He has the Bucks on the road, but they are favored because they are playing the NFC least. He has the Saints at home. He has the Ravens at home. So he has one true upset, and that's the Rams. And then people are questioning the Steelers. So he's got the Steelers, and then he's got the Buccaneers, who are favored on the road. All right, cool. Dietrich has the Seahawks. Why don't you guys do what Javon did? Give me all your picks for all those games. Thank you, Jimmy. Jimmy's got the Bills at home. He's got the Seahawks at home. He's got the Steelers at home. He's got the Washington football team at home. All right, so Jimmy's got all the home teams. The Ravens are on the road? Oh, the Titans. My bad. Okay. So both of you have the Ravens over the Titans on the road. Yes, I agree with that.
I had the Titans over the Ravens. Okay.
All right, good stuff. Let me get the rest of your picks, Dietrich. Trey, we're trying to get we're getting playoff predictions from everybody that's watching and listening. My daddy, give us your other picks. You have the Steelers, the Browns at the Steelers. You have the Bucks at Washington. You have the Ravens at the Titans. You have the Colts at the Bills. And you have the Bears at New Orleans. Okay, Dietrich has Bills, Seahawks, Steelers, Bucks, Saints, Titans. That shit looks eerily close to Javon's, except for the Seahawks Rams. But Dietrich is a 49er fan, so we're not picking the Rams.
Can you give me the rundown? I can't get in my office to see, but I do got.
If you look here, just look at this comment. It gives you all the games.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, you still can't see it. Bills and Colts, Seahawks, Rams, Steelers, Browns, Washington, Tampa, New Orleans, Chicago, and Baltimore, Tennessee. And Baltimore's on the road.
Gotcha. Okay, so I got. Wait, let me see that again. I got Bills. Shit, I hate to say, but
Seahawks.
You said it for me.
Seahawks.
Rams. Yeah, I can't say that other one and I pay into that other one. Yeah, I got Bills. I got Rams. I got the Steelers. I got.
You want to change now after Jared Goff hit his thumb on someone's helmet? You want to go ahead and
when did he do that?
Who is he, Anthony Davis?
Last week.
Oh no, but he's been practicing good. They said.
They who was they?
The coach.
The coach is gonna say he's been practicing good.
Yeah, I'm rocking with Rams. Let me see. I got the Steelers. Then who was that?
Washington. Tampa.
I'm definitely not betting Washington. I got the Bucks.
What?
Well, he's an Eagles fan. He can't go for anybody in the NFC East. At least.
That's true.
Worst.
And then who's left? I'm going Baltimore.
On the road.
And on the road, yes. And I'm going the Saints.
Now, are you taking these teams with your heart or your pocket?
Both. Because
So
I learned to bet with my heart and my pocket the same way.
Okay. So
'Cause
you
I
know Tom
used
Brady
to.
doesn't. Tom Brady
If they
doesn't
don't
play well on
align,
the
you'll be a
road.
broke man betting with
So
your
I'm
heart.
gonna tell you right now, buddy. One and done are two of your picks: the Rams and the Buccaneers. One and done.
Tom Brady is terrible on the road. His career.
Think about the last time he was on the road.
You think they're gonna lose to Washington, bro?
Hey, Washington in the playoffs. If you got a good defensive line, you got a chance.
Speaking of Pau Gasol, they got a Hall of Famer over there starting at quarterback, Alex Smith. So yeah, his Hall of Fame time is coming too.
Oh, you rocking with that too, AC? You saying Washington?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
if you got a tough defensive
I pick
line,
against Tom Brady for a living.
Hey? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. You go. Whatever team Brady's on, you going against with the other one. That's right.
Yeah.
Who you got in the Rams?
Oh, Seahawks. I think that's probably that game won't be within 21 points.
And see, to be totally honest, I gotta say Rams because I gotta try to rock with them. They need one more person to rock with them, and I feel like that's me.
They don't need people to rock with them like this.
But hey, let me just say this.
My goodness.
I'm saying Rams, but I wouldn't bet. How about that? I wouldn't bet that. That would be a game that I wouldn't touch. I'm gonna say Rams because I want them to win. Do I think they're gonna win? No, not a chance. Not a chance.
I think Wayman is responding to what I said about either about Washington or about Brady. Either way, he doesn't agree. So he's got Tampa Bay, clearly.
Yeah, but that Tampa game is going to be a blowout. It's not going to even be close. I don't even know why y'all got.
I don't think Washington can blow them out, but Washington will win.
No, Tampa Bay is going to blow them out.
You need to clarify.
Tampa Bay is going to blow them out. All right, let me ask you this, Rod. What's a blowout? Since I'm saying they're going to blow them out, is 10 points a blowout?
No.
What's a blowout?
Three scores, 3 touchdowns.
Damn,
So
they got to beat them by 21. So if they beat them by 14 points,
17 is 3 scores.
Okay, I'll give you 17.
Nine is 3 scores.
No, what they talk about the how can you if you score 3 times and get the maximum points. Well, so 9 is considered 2 scores, Trey, because you can get there by scoring twice. That's what they mean.
Gotcha.
So 17, it would be 8-1. So or 7-7-3. So that's why
I'm gonna say they're gonna beat them by 2 scores. They're gonna beat them by 2 touchdowns. Because I don't want to say 2 scores.
You're saying Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay, yes.
Yeah. All right.
So they're gonna win. That's not 14 points, not a blowout.
Right. So I won't say blowout, but they're gonna win by 14 points or more.
I think Tampa Bay's. I think Washington is going to win by 5.
What do you say, Rod?
I think Sweat is gonna hit Brady so hard and force a fumble and lead to another touchdown, and Washington will win.
He got play-by-play.
20. Let me see. I say Washington will win 27-14.
All right. So thank you, Dietrich. So Dietrich says Alex Smith wasn't moving well, and Dietrich comes from the 49er camp, so we know Alex Smith well. So Dietrich is probably studying Alex Smith. So Dietrich is giving you some inside information. I'm still going to go with Washington, but thank you, Dietrich. Javon is delusional like Trey. With this Rams thing, and Javon,
I'm rocking with you, bro.
But Jay Moore is delusional.
We got this.
But in fairness, my favorite player is on the Rams defense. Go Aaron Donald. But
he's always
not
the one
Mookie
that shows up in big moments.
Mookie would never play for the Rams. What you talking about, Willie? So Wayman clearly has Washington losing by 24. And I would never call Wayman.
I agree with you.
I would never call. You just said that you had him by 14. So
right. No, but I'm saying I could see where he's going. I could see where he's going.
Jimmy, I'm glad that we have something. Dude, you are, yes. I will be there. And I'm not saying a word. I'm just going to like and I'm just gonna sit there and let you bash Kobe in favor of Allen Iverson. Like, what are we doing here?
If you saying he didn't have single digits, he must have hit some last second free throws to get over 10. I just got to watch my video again because the dude held him 9 points when he left the game.
What's Jim talking about? He's dissing Kobe?
Yeah, me, big time. He said Iverson's the best player. He said Iverson's the GOAT.
Kobe didn't have any defense except he can guard bomb. And I don't know where that came
Come on now. Come on now.
He said Iverson is the GOAT and Kobe couldn't play defense. That's what he said.
I don't know where that came from.
Jimmy Mack. Yeah, okay. I said 5. Jimmy said 3. See, I told you Jimmy has his head screwed on straight sometimes. Wayman, I don't care. Let me be clear. I don't care about Washington and Tampa Bay. So I can do what I want. But I'm serious because I don't believe in Tampa Bay. I don't believe in Tampa Bay on the road. I don't believe in Bruce Arians on the road. I don't believe in Tampa Bay on the road. Okay?
Is that okay?
All right. Back to JaVon, the delusional one. Okay. But did they win? No, they didn't. Okay. So
all right. So this Washington.
Be clear, Jimmy. I'm clowning. I know. Well, I would hope that you don't hate Kobe. You're saying you're giving facts. I think your facts are slanted, so I think your facts are not actual facts. But I believe that you believe they are facts. So we were just clowning by saying that you thought that Iverson was a GOAT. Yeah, it's on the road. Washington is hosting. They beat the brakes off of Seattle? That's not even how you spell brakes. So stop it, JaVon. Making us look bad. Yeah, it's on the road. All right, go ahead, Rod. Close out.
Hey man, this was a rough one considering what we witnessed yesterday. To those who believe, stay prayerful, be safe, continue to guard yourself against COVID. It's still real. Hospitals are over capacity. If you go in there saying you got some kind of ailment, they are going to turn you away. Ambulances are not taking people who are not serious enough to the hospital. They're just going to tell you you can't get in the ambulance to go anywhere. So knowing that, be careful.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Rod. Thank you for that, Wayman. Hey, JaVon. Yeah, actually, I knew that. I was thinking about last weekend when we played, the 49ers played Seattle and the Rams played Arizona. My bad. I wasn't thinking about Seattle and the Rams. So my bad on that, JaVon. Yeah, Jimmy, we'll talk about this on your show. We don't care. Let's take this break from Wayman. All right. Go ahead, Trey. Close out.
And I'm gonna just go
I
off.
love you too, McElroy the fourth. Go Bruins.
I'm gonna just go off of the back of what Rod said, man. This COVID thing is no joke. You guys probably saw me a couple of times. I'm here in my own house. I have an electrician here, man. Anytime I go out this room, I put my mask on. I'm in my own house, my own quarters. Outdoors, man, it's to the point where you got to do like AC does. You got to put your mask on in the drive-thru. I catch myself doing that too. I make sure I stay away from everybody. I don't want to bring this, home to my family. And it's a different strain out there right now that we don't even have our hands on this one, and it's another one coming into town. And we don't know how many people have it. And they say it's affecting kids now, and it's just a terrible thing that we're going through as a nation as a whole. And everything that happened yesterday, Capitol Hill, man, it's they say God wouldn't put you in any position where he didn't think you could handle it. So we all need to stay strong, stay prayed up, man. We're gonna all get through this. We've gotten through it. Stay close to God, stay close to your loved ones, man, and be safe. That's pretty much what I got right now, man. It's just terrible situation that we're in. But we'll all get together as long as we can get through it as long as we stick together, man. And
Yeah. Thank you for that, Trey. Thank you, everybody that I already shouted out. I already shouted out all of you, but those that stayed to the end, thank you for being a part of the Collective Podcast Live, episode 43. Dietrich says that we helped him get through his first day back to work. So
nice.
Shout out.
Thank you.
Jimmy gave us thank you. Cobbs gave us one of these earlier. Javon is working hard to give us the right information. So thank you, Jay Moore. Nisha even joined us. Nisha says mask up. Thank you, Nisha. Senior is about to bounce. So he's podcast school. You guys well informed. Thanks a lot. Thank you for joining us. Jimmy says he had a great time. Listen, I appreciate all of you that came, and I appreciate my guys for staying a part of this. We haven't completed a year, but we are in calendar year 2 because we're in 2021. Trey is dead serious about me masking up in the drive-through, and to be clear, he's talking about when I order, because I feel like something could be jumping out at me from the menu. So obviously I do it at the window, but even when I'm ordering, and Brianna's now started to do this, but COVID has finally come closer to my home than ever. I did tell Rodney and Trey, but my stepdaughter's dad tested positive for COVID-19 while she was over there, and so she's still over there because they're in that period. I don't know if she's been tested yet, but it's been about a week, and so she's still in that household with he and his girl and their 4 kids. So there are 7 of them over there, and my prayers go out to them. He feels well. My stepdaughter feels well. I didn't get a checkup on anybody else in that house, but that's close to home. She was very close to coming home when we found that out, and so she wound up staying over there. So it's real. I've been telling you guys that from the beginning. I know that there are a lot of skeptics out there. Some of the same skeptics that believe certain elections were stolen and all of that. And listen, I don't have time to spew conspiracy theories because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am a realist, and I just try to keep you guys well informed. I try to stay well informed so that we can have a well informed podcast. And it's amazing that we have this platform and that people are joining us to participate, because we are nothing without your participation. So we want to thank you for that. We want to ask you to stay safe, wear your masks. Also, just keep that energy, keep that 6-foot energy. I swear, every time I'm in line, it's not a lot, but I'm in line and I got to keep looking at people to get them back to 6 feet, or I got to reposition. Even if there's no circle on the ground, you should be able to measure 6 feet in your head. Don't be all up on people. You saw how disgusting it was at the Capitol yesterday. It was dangerous and disgusting, but it was also a super spreader event, like Trey said. Don't get caught up in that, people. Hey, but thanks again for coming. I promised you guys that I was going to put this stuff up on Spotify and the other DSPs. It's been about 15 weeks since I put them up. I will put all the back episodes up and get that up for you guys. And then starting next week, it'll be up every Thursday after, within 2 hours after we go off. The episodes will be up on all the DSPs. So you'll be able to listen. If you miss it live, you'll be able to listen 2 hours later. You can always go watch it on YouTube. Please like us on Facebook. Please also like us on YouTube and subscribe. We need it. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for our fellow podcasters coming on. Our regulars, thank you, but our podcasters, Anthony Cobbs of AC Sports Live, Jim McElroy IV of the Sucker Punch podcast, and Anthony and Jim together, the 1585 podcast. Let's see, tonight is Thursday. So tonight is Jimmy's podcast, the Sucker Punch podcast, and then 1585 is them combined on Fridays. And then Anthony's AC Sports Live is Tuesday nights. So 9 p.m. Pacific time, Rodney and I will definitely be on there commenting. Maybe Trey will get a chance to get in there too. But thank you all. We appreciate you. We love you. I love my family. I love my friends. Be safe. Let's see. If you need a hoodie, thelegalhustle.com. That's my gear. Hoodies, t-shirts, hats, thelegalhustle.com. And then if you need a home, need a car, need financing, and you need your credit to get right, reconcreditrepair.com. That's me. These are my guys. Saucier Seniors on my left. Trey Hop is below us. These are my guys. Much love. We out.
Thanks, fellas.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.